And on today's show, why foreign national market could be the niche market you've been looking for. Part one of this week's series, The Foreign National Market in America, with foreign national expert and certified financial planner, Carrie Rakovich. Hi everyone, I'm Steve Savant, syndicated financial economist and contributing author to InsMark, Live Specs, and Backroom Technician. Let's get down to business. Well, welcome to the show, Carrie.
Thanks, Steve. It's great to be here.
Carrie, I got to tell you, this is a major niche market, and you are the queen of all that we survey in this. I have to say, I've never met anybody so, really, you are narrowly focused on, I know you do other things, but tell me a little bit about your experience personally, and how did you get into foreign markets?
You know, I started in the property and casualty business, Steve, and kind of worked my way up the ranks with the insurance business and then became a personal financial planner. And from there, you know, with my position at Transamerica, one of the huge focuses that we have is the foreign national market, mainly because there's a lot of global citizens out there. And global citizens here in the United States, they need life insurance just like U.S. citizens do. And so there's a lot of planning that can be done. And by aligning yourself with the carrier who's got the products available, you're able to provide a solution for those folks.
Well, I know you're a certified financial planner, you're CLU, HFC, and now you're into foreign markets. When you say things like this, I think, okay, the world is shrinking, and we have impact with people that have property in the United States, maybe married to somebody else that isn't American. There's so many mixes here, but I've read things that you've written about how big the volume of cases are on this, and some of these cases are huge.
Absolutely, absolutely. And really, when we talk about the foreign national market, let me break it down. There's really two sub-markets in there. One of them being resident aliens. Those are the folks who are not U.S. citizens, but make the United States their permanent home. So they've decided to live here in the U.S. And for a lot of reasons, for a lot of semblance, they're just like a U.S. citizen, but there are some tax benefits that they're missing. So I would say that the volume of the cases that we see in the foreign national market really come from the resident aliens, those folks who are living here in the U.S.
Now, you said some of the traditional cities I noticed in your notes here used to be New York, Los Angeles, Miami. I kind of get that. And then Vegas, though, I was surprised. This is the number that got me. 21% of Las Vegas population is foreign born.
That's absolutely right. So, I mean, it's not just the traditional gateway cities where you see these folks moving to make their home or purchasing vacation homes and such. Denver, Colorado has a huge contingent. Interestingly enough, we have had some very successful foreign national business out of Kansas City. So, I mean, it depends on where you're at. You look for that niche. Pretty much if you're near a university, if you're near a military base, if you're near a large multinational corporation such as BMW in Spartanburg, South Carolina, same thing. You've got access to this foreign national market.
I think most advisors may be watching this show said, Steve, I didn't even know we could do business with foreign nationals, depending upon, again, what their jurisdictions are and so forth. So you have found, at least in the way out my discussion with you, this sounds like this is a huge market, way bigger than I thought it was.
It is a huge market, and you're absolutely right. I would agree 100%. I think that most advisors don't realize that there's a solution when their client is not a U.S. citizen, but sometimes there is. So it's definitely worth vetting it out and figuring out the case. A lot of times it comes down to unwinding. Is this client really, to me, what I would say is residency is the first test. Where does the client live permanently?
So they could live in the U.S., but not necessarily be a U.S. citizen.
That's exactly right.
And so those assets are under whose jurisdiction, the U.S. or his domiciled country?
Well, that's a great question. From the U.S. perspective, if you're living here as a resident alien, as far as estate and gift taxes go, the United States will look at your worldwide assets. So it's the everything globally that would come into the picture.
And they have to submit that to the service when they do their taxes?
That's correct.
So if they see all the assets, is it a percentage? Well, there's only 10% in the U.S., but everything else is outside. Or is there a certain demarcation line where they say, I'm sorry, but now you come under our tax jurisdiction?
It's not as easy as that whenever we talk about the estate and gift taxes. Now, when you talk about income taxes for the foreign national market, you know, income taxes have a very specified test where you can calculate, is this person, this non-U.S. person, going to be subject to U.S. income taxes? When we get to talking about estate and gift taxes, it comes down to the client's intention. So it's much more difficult to have a specific test that you can apply. It's more about where's your primary residence? How much time do you spend in this country versus another country? It's where do you see your doctors? Where are your friends and family? Where are the children going to school? If the IRS can put together, enough of a web to say that, hey, this person is a resident in the United States, then that yes, they're able to attach the worldwide assets for estate and gift taxes.
When we come back from the break, we're going to continue our discussion, kind of an introduction into this whole foreign national market. To me, it's just so intriguing and kind of a little bit, it sounds almost espionage in a way. We'll be right back after the break. It's not how much money you make for your clients, it's how much money they get to keep, especially in retirement. But retirement income could cause Social Security benefits to be taxed. One tax advantage alternative is life insurance designed as a non-modified endowment contract that can generate tax-free income without taxing Social Security benefits. These contracts offer differing funding options depending upon your client's risk tolerance. For more information on how life insurance can be part of your retirement planning, just email me at steve@downtobusiness.tv. Brought to you by Ash Brokerage, the practice enhancement company. Well, welcome back to the second segment. Of course, I'm with Carrie Rogovich. Carrie, we're talking about foreign national market. It is bigger than we originally thought. There are so many people living in the United States that have main assets, their main asset base, money, and this becomes an issue again as we talked at the end of the first break. Hey, is there income taxes on that? What about estate taxation? And a lot of the foreign nationals, even though our unified credit is quite high for most Americans, and even though that may be applicable to foreign nationals, really a lot of these people have serious wealth, so they're going to be over the line. Does our estate taxation actually tax foreign nationals as well as income?
Yes, it sure does. So let's break that down, because if you're treated as a resident alien, as far as the estate and gift taxes go, you would have the $5.34 million bucket like a U.S. citizen. What you're missing is the unlimited marital deduction. There is no unlimited marital deduction for transfers to a non-U.S. citizen spouse.
Okay, so you could have husband and wife, foreign national, and they're married, but there's no marital deduction.
That's correct. So once they breach that one person's lifetime credit, the 5.34 for 2014, we're entering the realm of, okay, we're going to be hitting some estate taxes upon the first death. Now, Steve, for non-resident aliens, those are your folks who are non-U.S. citizens who have assets in the United States, but they don't make the U.S. their primary home. Maybe they have a vacation home here. Maybe it's their business interest. Whatever it is that they own here in the U.S., their estate tax exemption is $60,000.
That's it?
Yeah. And I don't know about where everybody out there in the video land lives, but in California, $60,000 won't even buy you a garage. So, automatically they're buying an estate tax whenever you have those non-resident aliens who come over. And that's where we really see like the large cases come in, because we're talking about folks who come and pay cash for a vacation home here, a $3-4 million home. Unknowingly, they've also purchased a U.S. estate tax bill.
So really, if I'm hearing you correctly, now I have, usually most advisors say, hey, listen, since the unified credit's so large now, it's not even worth talking to. It's not even worth going down the road with America. But everybody else may have an exposure if they're a foreign national, and depending upon how they're living. So estate planning could be back in vogue. We could be talking about second to die all over again.
Absolutely.
I noticed here one thing that was curious to me. You said here you were talking about, hey, is it a green card? Is it a visa? What's your immigration status? Do you plan to retire? But here, I love this line because why did you bring in this one question? Where do you visit your doctor? Why is that important?
Where do you visit your doctor? That's a huge piece.
Can that be?
If you're coming to the United States for your medical care and you've got a home here and you've got your assets here, one of the tests that the U.S. could look at is, the larger home is here in the U.S., you're seeing your doctors here, you've got a business interest here, but if you're trying to hold out that you're a resident of another country, you could possibly end up being pulled in as a resident at the time of your death, and those global assets being pulled in for the estate
Because
taxes.
they're really supposed to disclose their global assets, right?
You know, yes, you really are supposed to disclose your global assets. And unfortunately, pretty soon here, we're going to have, regulatory practices in place with FATCA and then right behind it, the GATCA coming out, where you're going to have to disclose those foreign
These are
assets.
oversight, governmental
That's
oversight?
correct. That's
okay.
correct.
Now, when I'm looking at this, I mean, do you think most people who live here know this before they come in here? In other words, if the foreign national goes, I already know what I'm getting myself into. I already know the tax limitation, the tax issues, and I'm going to have to pay taxes, income, maybe even estate. They already know that coming in, or no? Is it a surprise?
There are some folks who do some fairly significant planning before they come to the U.S. or before they bring any of their assets to the U.S. But there's a large number, I want to say it's, pretty close to 40% that have done no planning, have no idea who come over, and then do either bring their money in, start a business, or purchase a vacation home here, and don't realize that as a non-resident alien, they only can shelter $60,000 in assets from the estate taxes here.
Well, I want to ask you something product specific, and I'm not getting into product this whole week, but just it crosses my mind. Now, life insurance, when you're talking about life insurance purchase as a foreign national, I know that there are many companies that are already international, many carriers are like that.
Right.
But are there restrictions? Can I write somebody if I'm an advisor on life insurance, or does it depend upon his country and so forth?
Well, it does depend upon the home country of the person who you're underwriting. So the proposed insured, you would definitely want for them to be here in the U.S. before any solicitation were to take place. You don't want to do any cross-border solicitation, because that can just be, with Mexico, it can mean jail time up to 6 months. So you want to be cautious there.
So an advisor on vacation in Mexico talks to this very rich person he just met on the beach.
That's
and he
exactly
starts
right.
soliciting. The Mexican government does not want our advisors in Mexico to do that.
No, and many foreign countries are the same way.
Jail time.
Jail time in Mexico.
So we're beyond E&O here.
Yes,
Wow.
yes.
Jail time.
We actually have that in my company, we've got that in our underwriting guidelines, a specific call out for Mexico. So really the conversation needs to take place while they're boots on the ground in the U.S. Medicals need to take place here. Applications need to take place here. Now, as the advisor, as long as the proposed insured is visiting in your state that you're able to sell in, that's fine. Application takes place in that state, parameds take place in that state, et cetera. Many of the countries around the globe, they allow their residents to purchase life insurance from other countries. But remember that when we're talking in this arena, we're not only talking about the U.S. perspective, but we've got to keep in mind there's another country's rules and regulations out there. So there is from time to time some proposed insureds who are going to need that third-party ownership either through a U.S. trust or a business entity because of regulations on their home country.
That is so amazing. I'm sorry that this is all the time we have for today. I just want to follow up. We'll catch you tomorrow. Remember, before moving forward with any of the ideas on our show, always consult your tax advisor, legal counsel, and your broker-dealer compliance department. And now I have to add another one, the carrier who's writing this business. Missed an episode? Just hop out to our video archives. And remember, you could be wiser as an educated advisor. I'm Steve Savant. We'll see you tomorrow.